Jason, last call.
Hi.
Hi.
I hope I don't have any feedback.
I hope so too. Make sure your stream is not running.
No, we're all good.
Okay. Cool. What's up?
Hi, great to be on the show. Just been watching your channel just recently, but I love what you guys are doing, and I'm really glad to be a part of it.
Welcome.
Awesome.
Thank you. So my concern is I have a few religious friends. One of them is a Muslim. The other one is a Christian. I'm finding that my Muslim friend is a little bit more understanding about my personal views on religion, whereas a Christian is very one-sided, sort of a one-sided mirror where only see what they want to see, but not actually see the other half. One particular view was from my Muslim friend. He made a post on Facebook a few weeks ago about how I think it was one particular country somewhere in the East, I think it was in Europe, about how burqas are being considered a bad thing, how people are being arrested for wearing burqas. And they're doing that in Australia, I know that. And I'm wondering if it should be banned, or should it be restricted? Should they just have some sort of, where certain countries would say, if you're not willing to show your face in our country where we do not believe in your religion, then you should not be in our country, or you should not be wearing the burqa at all. Well, that's my one question, so I'd like to hear your response on that.
I mean, what does it even mean for the country to believe in the religion? Because people say that the United States is a Christian nation, but it's not. It is explicitly laid out in the Constitution, which is a physical document, by the way, as the as a secular nation. It is a nation that doesn't officially support or suppress any one particular religion. And in fact, one thing that atheists point to a lot is the Treaty of Tripoli, where Washington said that the U.S. is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion. Now, you were talking about Australia, but I'm just bringing this up to highlight the fact that it's stupid to talk about the religious beliefs of a country.
Yeah.
And, people have specific concerns about Muslims doing violence in the name of their religion, but I think that laws that outlaw particular articles of clothing are, at best, addressing the symptoms of the problems that they want to deal with. And, forcing people, and I understand that burqas are sometimes problematic because women are pressured to do that because they're not allowed to show their face. But there are people who wear those things voluntarily. And I think that it is just as oppressive to say that you may not wear a particular article of clothing because it is an identifier for a religion that we, whoever that is, don't agree with.
Yeah, and
that's a great point. Sorry, go ahead, Leanne.
Yeah, it's definitely the case. I mean, even if wearing a burqa was an oppression thing, and outlawing it means that you're kind of shoving women back into their houses and not allowing them to leave because suddenly they don't have options. And so it's kind of this thing where it's like taking things away. And I mean, I would say in most cases, you don't really need to see other people's faces. I mean, I get by with seeing almost nobody's genitals. And I think my day goes about just fine, it would be weird for any of the three of us, I would imagine, to have to go to a country where you were just suspect to random, inspections. That would feel really invasive, and we wouldn't feel comfortable going around a country where the law was just, wear no clothes. That would just be ridiculous. And I think the fact that these laws are kind of popping up is more of kind of a fear thing. It's more of fear of the foreigners and the others kind of coming in, and this is a pushback against no foreigners, no others. We just want it to be white and Christian. And even if we're atheists, we still celebrate Christmas. So we have these kind of Christian roots, but we don't really consider ourselves Christian. So it's kind of like still endorsing this Christianity stuff, even if it's an atheism thing. Because, an atheist would be fine with other atheists wearing burqas, but that's just not a thing that happens.
Those are really great points, and it actually made me think when I got a response from my friend regarding my comment on it, and I started to think that, you know what, it's not a crime to wear a burqa. It's pretty much the same as wearing a balaclava during the wintertime. So I started to think you shouldn't ban something simply because it is a religious statement. You should just act on a crime. You cannot act before a crime is committed. There's no crime being committed by wearing a burqa, as you guys are sort of pointing at, that there's no crime to it. So I started to realize, there is no crime to it. And then I, as an atheist, being a free thinker, being a logical thinker, I realized that wearing a burqa is not a bad thing. However,
of course, if a society does outlaw burqas, then by definition it is a crime. The question then becomes, is that a just law or not?
Right. Well, yeah. Being it's a British colony, Australia. Mm-hmm. Banning burqas is definitely a crime against religion. I don't exactly know what their religious foundations are. I don't think they have any. In the United States, it's interesting. We do say that it is freedom of religion. It's printed on your currency, "In God We Trust," which means you can believe in any God, be it the Christian God, the Jewish God, the Islamic God, whoever. It's free religion for all. The problem, I think, is its majority, I believe, in Christianity. They're very in your face about it. And which brings me to another thing that I saw on Facebook. Another friend of mine posted a picture of a bomber dropped on a desert nation, and the message said, the answer to an American being beheaded. And it's basically just, mass bombing. I don't believe that this whole eye for an eye thing solves anything.
So the answer to a particular group or a group of individuals committing an atrocity is to commit a much larger scale atrocity and execute a whole bunch of people who had nothing to do with that action.
Sounds like they need to go on a crusade.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Which is what I was saying earlier with Bush going to, Bush said that God told him to go attack Iraq and all that stuff. Yeah, so I think that reaction is more about kind of the fear of, losing this privileged status. Because right now Christians have this privilege of they're the majority, they're the unquestioned moral center of certainly their universe and kind of our country. And there's this fear of, they have this idea that someone has to be at the top, and they do not want to give that up. And they're going after Muslim people because there's this threat of, if I don't shove everyone else down, I'm going to get pulled off of the top. And so that's what they're reacting to, is kind of the idea that someone will eventually push me off and I won't be the dominant one. And then maybe if that happens too, my religion isn't true, because wouldn't God have made the true religion the dominant one? So there's a lot tied into it.
There's a lot of baggage there.
A lot of baggage. And so it's kind of about keeping this faith on top of stuff. And it shows the Christian privilege that, Christians are very casual about displaying the death and murder of other people in religion. But I'm sure if your Muslim friend had posted anything like that, showing someone getting bombed and being like, well, clearly the reaction to an Islamic country being bombed is to behead people. If they had flipped that script around, people would have been down that person, your Muslim friend's throat, right? So it definitely shows.
They'd be calling the police,
doubt. Oh yeah, calling the police.
I mean, literally trying to arrest that guy.
I'm sure the NSA would have been all over that.
Yeah. So it's definitely kind of stacked up to say that it's unquestioned that Christianity is dominant and can attack and be violent towards other religions, no matter what. And that's terrible.
I believe this war has just been going on for forever, as one of the previous callers said about the Renaissance, the Christian Renaissance war against the Israelites and the Palestinians and the Middle Eastern countries, and it's almost like the same kind of war between the Jews and the Palestinians. It's just keeps fighting. There's just this constant war. Do you feel like this Christian versus Islam war is going to continue for thousands of years?
First of all, I don't think we have enough time to talk about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Lots of smarter people than me have gotten completely lost in that.
I actually think Mormons are going to get in on the action at some point.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that Scientologists, they've got all the celebrities. They can do appeals for, won't you donate generously to support the Scientology side?
But all of their bombs will be based on what's that, like, electricity test that they do?
Engrams.
Engrams. So they'll have a bunch of engram bombs, and they'll be like, yeah, now everyone feels really bad. So they're gonna get wiped out real fast.
Yeah. I hope that people will get smarter to the point where overtly religious conflicts will diminish someday, but I'm an optimist.
I'm an optimist in the fact that if we don't get this shit figured out, we're not going to be around in 1,000 years. So
that's optimistic according to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's one way or another, there's not going to be this war in 1,000 years. So
well said.
Okay.
I just want to say one last thing. I don't know if you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys do know about Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
We love him.
He posted a video not too long ago about how atheist scientists, the number of atheist scientists seem to go up as opposed to religious scientists where the number is down. I sent that link to you guys on Skype right now. I hope you guys get a chance to see it, and it'll give you a bit of an opinion on something new.
Well, I'm not likely to there. Bear in mind also that Neil deGrasse Tyson specifically avoids being identified as atheist. He made a video once.
He says he's agnostic.
Yeah. I don't know if I believe him, but
he's fine to identify with however he wants.
He can identify however he wants.
Yeah.